Good morning. Let me begin this devotional with a couple of verses from the book of James. From the 4th chapter, James says in verse 13, "Come now, you who say, today or tomorrow we will go to such and such a town and spend a year there doing business and making money. Yet you do not even know what tomorrow will bring." I'm in a bit of a reminiscing mood this month. I am recording this on the 22nd of March. As I shared with you yesterday, today is the 30th anniversary of my ordination. But today is also a special day, and in really ways a more special day in the life of our family, because today is the 29th anniversary of the birth of our son David. And for this passage from James to remind us that we can make all the plans we want, but we have no idea what's really going to happen. God alone knows what is going to happen, and God is guiding our lives in ways we can't imagine. That is very true for us and for our story with David. As you may know, our son David is our adopted son, and before he was our adopted son, he was our foster son. And the very quick story is, about the time I was getting ordained in 1992, Lee and I were independently feeling a call to foster care. And we went through the process of becoming foster parents. It took a while, of course. There were classes we had to take and background checks and all this kind of thing. And finally, all of that was cleared, and we got a call that they had a placement for us. And that would have been late in the month of March in 1993. And it turned out a baby had been born on March 22nd of 93, and he was in need of placement. And we were absolutely sure that this was going to be our foster child, and we were going to care for this child as long as we needed to, and eventually he would go back to his mother or would go to some permanent placement. But it was not our job to adopt him, and that was not what we thought we were going to be doing. But of course God had other plans, and the long story short is, when David was about 3, he came available for adoption. He had been with us the entire time, and the social services said that we could have we could adopt him if we chose to. We were the obvious best family, since he had been with us his whole life minus 9 days, and so we did. And who could imagine that 29 years later we would have a son? That was not what we imagined at that time. Who would imagine that 29 years later I would be filming this on my very own little horse farm? Who could imagine that that horse farm would be in Tennessee, that I would be a Presbyterian minister? All of the different ways that life takes us, and that God hopefully is directing us in life, we can't possibly imagine. But what we do know is God is with us. And so James isn't writing a threat when he tells us, don't say that you're going to go and do this and that in the next year. You're welcome to say those things, but you don't even know what tomorrow will bring. But what we do know is, as we often say, God is already in tomorrow. God is outside of time. And so no matter what, for good or for ill, happens tomorrow, God is already there with us. And so as I sign off every devotional, at least for the last several hundred, I sign off again this day. But this day it means even more to me when I remind you that God is with us. Amen.